My name's Daniel Locke. I'm the landscape convener with the Valleys Regional Park, and today we're at Bryngarw Country Park in Bridgend, one of our Discovery Gateway sites, to watch the rangers at work delivering their fantastic environmental education programme. This work is hugely important. In fact, it's never been more important. These children are potentially the rangers and the ecologists and the conservationists of the future. These are the jobs of the future because we are in a climate and nature emergency. The climate emergency is arguably more or increasingly well understood, but the nature crisis, which is very much the other side of the same coin, is perhaps less well appreciated. But we are globally eroding our ecological foundations. Wales, unfortunately, and the UK as a whole, is one of the most nature depleted countries in Europe, if not in the world. We've lost over 90%, nearly all of our native wildflower meadows, 50% plus of our flying insects, which includes our butterflies and our bees and other pollinators. We've got less woodland cover than many countries in Europe, 15% potentially in Wales, compared to a European average of about 38%. So things are bad, and these species and these ecosystems aren't just important for people who like to go out and connect with nature, they're important for all of us. If you can think of planet Earth as being like a spaceship and we're all on board, then the species and the ecosystems are the engine parts that fuel our life support systems. And as we lose those engine parts, if you like, we get closer and closer to system collapse, and things really are potentially on that trajectory. So it's never been more important to engage people with nature, to give people a better understanding of nature and help all of us to become part of the solution to this huge problem that we now face. So programs like the education program here at Bryngarw for local schools are hugely important.
It's that sort of getting that passion in at the beginning with groups like today, and even just that little bit of knowledge, just that little bit of appreciation of nature and the countryside and that love of the natural world. You know, that in itself means that people will be more conscientious as they grow up, and they'll want to protect the environment. And it teaches people about, you know, this sort of stuff teaches people about the environment and builds that sort of understanding and that knowledge. And yeah, whether you want a career in it or not, it's yeah, I think everybody should learn a little bit about their local patch.
Bryngarw, like many of our Discovery Gateways and country parks, are on the doorsteps of local communities. They're accessible, they're visible to people. Schools can use them for these sorts of programs. Apart from the fact that it gives children a real insight into the nature on their doorstep, and it gives them an opportunity to engage and interact with that nature, it's also potentially the start of something more meaningful for people. So the park in Bryngarw here, and many of our Discovery Gateways and other parks, also have volunteer programs. And those volunteer programs, and the one here is a really good example, they give people the knowledge and the understanding and the skills to help manage the landscape, to help restore the landscape and the nature on their doorsteps. And that is vital because we all need to be part of this solution to restoring nature as part of meeting the challenge of the nature crisis, but also its potential pathways into jobs in the nature sector. And in fact, organisations like the TUC and the RSPB have done studies which show that we could create literally thousands of jobs if we were serious about restoring nature. People need the skills and the knowledge to get into those jobs. And one way we think of conveying those skills and that knowledge is through programs like those delivered here at Bryngarw and other parks, again on the doorsteps of local communities, meaning people from all ages and backgrounds, young and old, can get involved in these programs, raise their levels of awareness and understanding, and then through the volunteer programs gain the skills which will give a good foundation then as a part of that pathway into employment in the nature sector.
So my name's Liam Mould and I'm an entomologist. Without, I suppose, being a volunteer at Bryngarw, then I don't think I would have been able to get the skills I really need as a stepping stone really into the sector.
I came to volunteer here to bring the kids along, and I knew virtually nothing, and so much of it I picked up while I was here, so I think it was invaluable in getting me the job that I have now. Essentially really that was a stepping stone for me getting into the career that I am now. As well as that then really I've got the skills and experience that I then use going further on in my career. So, you know, for me it was a really, valuable thing to do, and I've obviously made long-lasting relationships, and 10 years later I'm still here. I'm now chairman of the volunteer group, so still doing it because I enjoy doing it as well. It's surprising how much can be the one thing that tips you over into success in applying for a job. And I'm pretty sure that it was to have that experience on a CV of working with other volunteers, of the teamwork, of the practical physical work on the ground, of the understanding of the natural environment here, is the thing that just tipped me over with this job. So we are in crisis. There is a nature emergency inextricably linked to the climate emergency. We need to do more to respond to that challenge. We need to mobilise large numbers of people. All of us need to be part of that solution. Huge amounts of great work is happening across a range of different organisations.
but it's not enough. So we need to drive forward new solutions and new initiatives, if you like, for bringing everything together to generate momentum so that we can really ramp this up and really respond in a meaningful way to that challenge. Valleys Regional Park, along with other partners including the WCVA, the Food Farming and Countryside Commission, RSPB Gymru, Groundwork Wales and many others have come together to create proposals for a national nature service for Wales. Firstly, it could bring together a lot of the great work that's going on. There's a huge number of initiatives already doing great stuff. As I said, it's not enough. We need to join that up as much as possible to generate even more momentum behind it, promote it to people who maybe aren't aware of it, fund it better, make sure everyone and anyone can have access to the opportunities they provide. We think a National Nature Service could help do that. We also think a National Nature Service could help create jobs in the industry and help create part of the skills pipeline into those jobs. And we in the Valleys Regional Park have put forward as part of those wider proposals this idea that using country parks, discovery gateways, local parks and nature reserves on the doorsteps of local communities, they could be really well placed by delivering programs like Bryngarw's Environment Education Programme and the volunteer programs. They can provide a really good foundation for what a National Nature Service could then be built on.